Now, when your dad is one of the co-founders of Potato Corner, you're pretty much bound to take over the family business, but not today's guest. He's the CEO and co-founder of Cheke, a fresh new label pushing the boundaries of Pinoy hip-hop, and he's all about mixing business smarts with artistic heart. Now, what inspired Justin Wieneke to carve his own corner in music? He'll answer that on Daymix. Beautiful day, Justin. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're doing good.
Of course, thanks for having me. I actually barely have any sleep, but I just made sure to
It's
Well,
so
thank you for the
come to
effort.
the studio.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so funny because I don't think we've ever had a musician on the show with any sleep.
That's so true.
It's such a music thing. I don't know.
Ever since we started Day Mix, I think all of our guests
Uh-oh.
have not had enough sleep.
They hate us. but but all of that aside, Justin, first of all, thank you so much for waking up and being here. Let's start off first with the obvious questions, which is that, you are part of a family that has brought a lot of calories to us in Potato Corner. Now, that's a
love
good
Potato
thing, by the way,
Corner.
because we love our Potato Corner. And coming from a family of entrepreneurs, you kind of went another way. How has that process been like for you? What were the words said within your family? And of course, what made you decide to take this route?
I guess one of the biggest challenges, being in a family business setup is not actually knowing how to run a business. So that's one of the things that I had to deal with. Straight out of college, I jumped into the family business, and the first few months of work, parang wala akong I didn't have any frameworks.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know how to work per se. Like, you jump into the business and then you're like, oh, what do I do? But at the end of the day, syempre, sa team or sa employees or sa staff, at the end of the day, you're just a child of the owner. So you really have to be able to know how to run a business. So that's why I chose a different path, and I chose to learn that outside the family business.
Did you feel that it was more given and not earned at that point?
Yes, definitely. That's one of the biggest challenges, I would say, being a son of the owner,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
COO,
yeah.
kumbaga.
Yeah.
But now you're running your own business. You've built your own label. But before that, you studied entrepreneurship. You've dabbled a bit into food and beverage. You've done film and music videos. You worked at Careless Music, yeah, with artists like James Reed. And now you have your label Cheke. As that shift was continuously happening, what click made you say, okay, I'm ready to shift from creator brain to operator brain and build my own label?
I just wanted to make something of my own.
Yeah.
Being an employee or being someone employed in their own or in a different company, you don't really get to call the shots. You don't really choose who you want to work with. So I just wanted to be able to create something, sort of like see a bigger picture, and create something and mold something in my own image.
Sorry, go ahead.
But why Cheke and why Philippine hip hop in particular?
Cheke in general, because I just really like hip hop. I really like R&B, and it's basically the genre I grew up listening to.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean that's basically it. Yeah.
How about the name Cheke? Where did that come from for you?
Cheke was obviously we wanted to have a name that's very Filipino in a sense. We had different names, but at the end of the day, as partners, because I have 5 other partners. We really wanted to be able to choose a name that really resonates with our key partners in the label, which is the artists. Because a lot of
Okay.
my partners are the artists themselves.
And everyone likes getting a Cheke.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say too. Like everybody wants to get their Cheke.
Yeah.
Diba?
Well, so when we look at the fact that this label, I believe it's not even a year old. It's very young, around 8-9 months, give or take.
Yeah.
And when you started this direction, I'm sure there must have been conversations within the family. Or did you get any encouragement, any pushback? How were the conversations like when it came to striking out on your own in this particular venture?
Fortunately naman, there wasn't any pushback because my mom does work in the creative industry. She's been working in advertising her whole life.
Yeah.
So I kind of got that side of her from my mom. I've been working in the creative industry for about 5 years now. I'm sure at this point, I mean, earlier at that point, there would have been something said about being in the creative industry na walang pera dyan, ganun, ganun. But at the end of the day, it's really about what makes you feel accomplished, and I feel that in the creative industry. So I guess there's no pushback there at all. Yeah.
Cheke was born around the rapper Costa Cashman, right? Who are the other artists in your roster, and what can you say about these particular artists?
Yeah, so we have Costa Cashman of O-Side Mafia. So O-Side Mafia is one of the biggest rap groups in the Philippines right now. And then we also have Fern, Kylo, who's a 17-year-old producer, singer, and rapper. And then we have Tugsta, 2IC, Matt White. These artists per se, why the reason why they're in Cheke, because they have very unique sounds, very unique personas, and they're very talented artists in their own right. They have their own distinct sounds and distinct styles. So the reason why we choose or how we choose artists is really dependent on the sound they have. So none of our artists have the same sound per se. So
When you talk about hip hop in general, not just in the Philippines, I'm sure it could be a bit territorial. When you talk about the sounds, when you talk about even people's backgrounds, where they came from, have you felt any of that in the industry? Do you feel a bit accepted already, considering the artists that you have? How has it been navigating that sort of landscape? Because it could get a bit disrespectful sometimes for certain people.
Yeah. I guess it's all about how you show yourself as a person. I mean, how you treat the artists, the people. At the end of the day, if you're a genuine person or you're a kind person, I'm sure they're gonna treat you with the same respect as a person. So yeah.
You've said that some Filipinos, they still side-eye Tagalog hip-hop as Baduy.
Yeah.
So, how do you change that mindset?
For me, it's not about highlighting the negative. For me, it's really just about showing them the positive out of what we're doing. Just showing them that whatever we're doing, it's at par with what the West is doing. Like, we have rappers that come here to the Philippines. We had Tyler, the Creator, come here, and people say this thing online, or people say like, oh, we should welcome more foreign rappers to the Philippines because there's a market for it. But when they say that, I'm like, okay, sure, but what about the local rappers?
Right.
Are you guys giving them attention? So stuff like that. Like, we can always compete with what's around the world on a global level.
Well, we're seeing now footage from some of the events out there, and the crowds are fantastic. I mean, like, it's no surprise that when it comes to rap and comes to hip hop, there's a bit of a subculture there. There literally have been movies made out of the Philippine hip hop culture. When you take a look at how the positive side of hip hop or Philippine hip hop should be highlighted, what would you say is the things that really stand out to you when you describe Philippine hip hop in a positive light?
It's raw, it's authentic, and it's true to the roots of the artists themselves. So hip hop, especially in the Philippines, is very cultural. It's based on their environment, so it has to be authentic to the core.
Is that a challenge for you? Because, well, I mean, a bit of a privileged background compared to some of the other rappers, other hip hop artists out there who come from, backgrounds that aren't as privileged. In fact, they rap about it, they talk about it. Is there any difficulty dealing with that sort of artist, or how can you relate to those type of artists, especially those who that you want to sign, that you want to work with, and of course, even if you don't work with them, show the proper appreciation, and hopefully they do the same for you.
Again, I think it goes back to how we treat people in general. It's about treating them with respect, setting boundaries, and at the same time, I'm not gonna be faking the man that I'm coming from a certain background.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about treating everyone with the right respect and the right kindness. So that's what I've how I've been operating since the very very beginning, is to be kind and treat everyone with respect.
Yeah.
For the young creatives that are watching us right now, how do you decide when to self-release your music or look for a label? What are the green flags of a label or a recording company, and the red flags that they should watch out for?
Of course, the only time you actually need a label is if you actually need the funding.
Okay.
You know, if you're an independent artist and you're doing okay without any support, you obviously have a bigger piece of the pie
Okay.
as compared to an artist in a label. But obviously, when you're in a label, you have all these resources at your command.
Right.
So you have all the funds in the world to be able to create music videos, fund your music, fund your recordings, fund your marketing and all that. That's the only difference. So if you're okay or you're pretty well off as an independent artist, you won't necessarily need to be in a label because a lot of artists do it independently, especially in the
That is true.
in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At saka, iba na rin yung technology now eh.
yeah.
Diba? You can just easily upload on Spotify, right? So some
YouTube, yeah.
artists, yes.
And you're doing well in terms of streams, if I'm not mistaken, for
Yeah,
Cheke.
very well. We've had a lot of songs this year reach the Spotify charts. We have at least 2 songs that are very viral on TikTok.
That's
So,
important.
Yeah, it's very
Yes.
important right now. The landscape of music is very different as compared to before, where people just buy CDs and whatnot. Now we have our own Spotify playlists, editorial playlists that are made by actual human beings, the Spotify editors. Yeah.
Yeah, for the TikTokers out there who want to know, what are those viral sounds? Could you tell us which songs that
Yeah.
have gone viral on TikTok?
So we have one. One is Costa Cashman's Fur, and then we have Tugsta,
Okay.
which is still viral now. What's Owen?
What's Owen? Okay, so I will be checking
Yeah.
TikTok if I can go viral soon.
And then we can make a reel
Kung-
out of it.
Kung
diba?
sayaw siya, ikaw
Yung
lang
mga
mag-isa.
trends.
Okay? But
See the support I get here every day from
hindi.
my partner.
Kasi I'm learning from it, authenticity. Diba? Being genuine, right? I'm not gonna do something I'm not part of. But, okay.
Speaking about being genuine, if
Yes.
we have viewers right now, creatives, rappers, and they want to approach you, be part of Cheke, what is that sound you're looking for?
Honestly, it's about being unique because everyone that makes music right now, especially in hip hop, there's a certain theme, there's a certain sound, and it mostly sounds the same. So what
Okay.
stands out the most is obviously something that's different. It depends on genres, sub-genres, I would say. It really depends on what's uso, kung ano yung uso na yun. Depende rin kung I don't know, because honestly, music comes in trends and waves.
Yeah.
Sometimes
that's
sounds, old sounds from the 90s come back
Yeah.
to now. Like now, very uso na yun yung Y2K sound. So that's
Yes.
early 2000s. So it really comes in waves and trends. So I guess whatever sounds fresh, that's what stands out the most to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, you mentioned it a while ago. You talked about the business approach to music. Obviously, you have the background in that with your family, and you also have a bit of the creative side. Like you're talking about the artistic requirements. How do you mix the both of them? And did your background helping out with Potato Corner, and of course, any advice from your family, change your perspective, or at least make sure that okay, mas sustainable to if I do X, Y, or Z?
Not necessarily. I had to learn all of the actual business
Yeah.
practices myself. One of the main reasons why I actually hindi naman run away, but why I decided not to join the family business.
Are they looking for you?
Hindi naman.
He's right here.
He's
okay?
right here, sir.
Yeah, they're
Okay, sorry, go
watching.
ahead.
They're watching. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I really didn't like the actual business part of running a business, like the numbers.
Okay,
like
yeah.
Finance and business operations. That's one of the things that I actually didn't like. Because that's why I became a creative, because like creatives don't really have to deal with numbers on a day-to-day. But then, of course, if you own a business that is in the creative industry, you can't escape the numbers, and you have to actually understand those numbers, because paano kakikita?
Yeah.
So yun, that's basically why and how I learned the actual part of running a business.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes artists depend on others for the
Yes.
numbers portion.
Yeah.
And now, do they depend on you for the numbers portion of it right now?
Yes, everyone depends on me on that now.
That's the
Yeah.
irony of where you are
Pretty
right
much.
now.
Speaking
Yeah.
of learning, you've worked with Careless, as we've mentioned earlier, for 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. What were the key learnings from your years at Careless Music that you were able to use here at Cheke?
You know, a lot of things that I actually learned from Careless, it's really heavily reliant on content. So obviously in Careless, they had stars like James,
Yeah.
Nadine, and all the rest of the roster there. So they would leverage their quote unquote clout
Yeah.
to be able to get business.
Yeah.
So that happens on a day to day in brands, in artistas. So just basically learning the concept of just leveraging
Content.
content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. But again, Cheke is not even a year old. We cannot wait to see what happens once you hit year 1 and beyond. More music coming up as well. For those who want to check out your artists and, of course, check out Cheke, where can they do so?
You can find them on Cheke PH on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn also. And you can find Cheke on LinkedIn.
Oh, so business like naman, grabe. Kala ko artistic lang yun yung habol niya.
But it's easy to find,
Oo.
di ba?
Easy to
For artists out there.
Natuto niya yan sa Potato Corner. Yung LinkedIn. No, but all joking aside,
Hindi
we really-
maalis yung potato corner,
Oo.
right?
It's in the blood.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
me, like basketball doesn't escape even though I don't play. But yes, one of those things that we can't avoid. But thank you so much for coming on over. Before we let you go, we normally ask one final question that Anne loves asking.
That's right. Our show is called Beautiful Day. So, Justin,
Yeah.
what makes your day beautiful?
As long as I get to wake up early, I get to work out and get to start working on my routine, and that's a beautiful day.
Perfect.
Simple as that.
Oh, and like the waking up early part, I'm happy for because he's here, right? That's a fantastic part
Thank you,
about
Justin.
Thank you so much. Thank
Really
you so much.
appreciate it.
it. So, guys, check out Cheke again. That's Cheke record label CEO Justin Wieneke. Now.